welcome to another episode of Newcastle Unlocked. I'm your host, Brent Sinclair, and today I thought we'd shift our focus a little bit away from Newcastle down towards the Central Coast. We've recently, Knight Frank and McGrath have recently come together with a national alliance, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity to take a look at the prestige residential market and the residential market in general. And what better way to explore that than with McGrath's number one or one of the top agents in the McGrath Group, Mat Steinwede, who currently sitting, I think, in the top 25 in the country of agents, and has quite an interesting journey coming from homelessness right through to the top tier in the residential market. So it'd be great to talk through it with him and get his take on the market.
Thanks for having me. So
Matt, you're one of the top performers in the McGrath Group and even across the country for any brand. So it's great to have you on. You've got a really interesting journey. You're obviously a high performer, and you're right in that wheelhouse, that prestige market down the Central Coast. So I thought we'd probably first start off about learning a little bit about you, and for those that don't know much about your journey, a bit about that, and then dive into the Central Coast market. So, mate, how'd you become one of the top performers in the McGrath Group?
Well, sort of by accident, because I used to be a criminal. I used to be I don't know what you call it, but in the underworld in Sydney when I was younger.
Yeah, wow.
And then I just ended up no good. But anyway, drug addict. And I actually just left Sydney one day because I was in a lot of trouble. So
yeah, right.
I just literally rang a guy. I was homeless, and I rang a guy that I met in Terrigal about a year before, and he was just connected to the bikers up there. And I went to Terrigal. It's sliding door moments is happens in life, and at the time you can't see why. But the people who I used to work for in the underworld scene sent me to Terrigal just one night they were opening another brothel.
Wow.
And they said, can you go up to Terrigal to the nightclub? We'll hook you up with the bikers up there. And can you go just scout out for some girls to work in the new brothel? And looking back, I was like, well, I'm not supposed to job interview them or something. I don't know. But I went there and I met one guy that night. His name was Dino, who knew the bikers. And then I met a girl who it was her 18th birthday. Her name was Karina. And fortunately, Karina gave me her number. And then that night, and I went home and everything fell apart. The months ticked on, and then I was under surveillance for a long time with the police, and I was there was a lot of things going on, and I knew I'd be either dead or in jail any day. So I rang Dino just randomly. I was living in this abandoned building, and I said, mate, can you come pick me up? I'm going to be dead or in jail any day. I can feel it. And he just literally drove down, picked me up, took me up to Terrigal, up to his parents' house, and I lived there for 9 months out the back of his mum and dad's house, just in this room. And I was in a drug psychosis way. I used to inject whatever I can get my hands on it every day. And then after about 9 months of sitting in this room, I thought, I've got to do something with my life, because I went from that whole world of wheeling, dealing, getting by, all of that, to just nothing. And I literally left with the clothes I was wearing, so I didn't have much prospects as a jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I rang an ex-girlfriend who still lived in Sydney, and I said to Lise, she hadn't heard from me for a while, and I said to Lise, I'm in a bit of trouble. What should I do? She said, a bit of trouble? You've left the biggest mess down here. You have people looking for you everywhere, because I owed people money, all sorts of things. I said, what should I do? And she said, why don't you get into real estate? And I was like, oh, sounds good. And I had no idea what real estate was. Just grabbed the phone book and I rang everyone in the yellow pages. And one lady gave me a job just in this home office and in Killarney Vale. Everyone else, I didn't have a car, I didn't have anything. And I said to her, I don't actually have a home, because I had to get out of his parents' house. They didn't want me there anymore. And the lady said, that's okay. If you can walk the streets and knock on the doors for me and ask people that want to sell their house, she said, I'll put you in a caravan on my property, on the acreage. That's what she did. So, and then from that day, I just door knocked every day and walked the streets, and till I created some sort of job.
Wow. So that's a pretty dramatic change of circumstances, really, isn't it? And So a chance sort of, I suppose a bad situation's brought you to the Central Coast or to real estate as well. And as you say, sliding door moments, you obviously haven't gone back to those ways. You've only progressed, gone further and further. How did you bring yourself into that frame of mind? Was it just a matter of, I have to change or something bad's going to happen? And is that sort of what triggered the...
Sort of. Yeah. Like it sounds like that's a cool little story. It's very long, but that's a cool little story. But it's like about a year later, so I just walked the streets every day and stayed with her. And I'm very thankful that she gave me a job. But then I got offered a job across the road because I was finding so many listings. Like they didn't do that back then. I've been in real estate. I'm been in real estate almost 30 years now.
Yep.
I was Killarney Vale where I didn't know where the place was. I just went there and it just had a few shops and nothing. So like I just walked anywhere. I didn't know where I was going. But the people across the road offered me a job. It was a bit better office. And I was like, it's Peter Brand Real Estate. And there's only a dad and a son that worked in there. And I was like, oh, that seems like a bit newer office. So I went there and I was working in there and I got engaged to Karina, who I met that night in the club. So we stayed in contact and I ended up marrying her. And so I'm glad I went to Terrigal, actually, in the long run. But about a year later, I got the bus home. I still didn't have a car. I got the bus home and I was renting this room off this old lady, friends of Karina's. And I walked into the house and this guy rings from the fish and chip shop at Killarney Vale. His name was Ray. He was an ex-heroin dealer from the Cross and we got on real good.
Yep.
He was on methadone and stuff. So he's like, the phone rings at home, one of these old dial phones. And Tina couldn't hear the phone because she's like deaf, sitting this far from the TV. And I was like, the home phone never rang. No one rang there. And so I picked it up and he goes, hey, Matt, it's Ray from the fish and chip shop. And I'm like, Ray, how did you even, it was like 7:30 at night. Remember it so clearly. It's dark outside. How did you even get this number? He goes, don't worry about that, mate. You've just been on Australia's Most Wanted. I'm just letting you know. So that show that was on TV?
I remember the show, yeah.
And like 5 minutes later, Karina's dad turned up at the front door. They lived a few streets away. Their whole family, a Mormon family, they're all Mormons. So the all Mormon family, 6 kids, and the mum and dad were watching the show, and up I pop. And he's like, he ran, and he's like, and he goes, we better talk. And I said, yeah, we need to. So I went and handed myself back in Sydney. And then got arrested and all that. And then went to court and Karina's mum testified and the old lady come and testified. And you asked me what turned it around. At the end of the hearing, the judge said, she goes, Matt, there was this lady probably in her 60s. She looks at me and she goes, Matt, you should be going to jail today for quite a few years. I had quite a number of warrants out from arrest. And she said, I just see some good in you. And I don't know, but I'm going to give you a second chance. But if you come back again, you'll go away for half your life. I want to make that really clear. And I said, okay. So I had to do community service and work at the same time, which was a headache. It went forever. And it took me 8 years to pay back all the fines that she gave me. I used to pay $50 a week. So the fines that she gave me, I used to have this little book. I had to pay $50 and get the book stamped. And I walked out of that courtroom that day because I was convinced I was going to jail because some of the charges I had were like grievous bodily harm, malicious wounding, all this sort of stuff. And I rang Dino and I said, Dino, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to become Australia's #1 agent. And I've never broken that promise. And ever since I've been like, that's been one of my drivers. And Dino's still my best mate today.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So
wow. Well, look, and only even last year, just to give context, I know that you're very prevalent on social media and your fitness and whatnot, but you're still in the top 25 in the country across all brands.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even pay attention anymore.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
No.
So it's a dramatic turnaround and it sort of rings true. It's amazing really to hear about it. So such events leading you to the Central Coast and you've been there for 25 years. Is that about right?
More now, like 30 years I've been there, but real estate 27 or 28. It was our 20th anniversary with McGrath yesterday. Yeah, really. And we were rain and horn before that.
Great. Well, I actually like to hear a bit more about that as well and a little bit more about your journey with fitness and health
Yeah.
and promotion, and how
Yeah.
you're helping agents and generally men live their lives really. Shifting to the Central Coast for a little while, the interesting thing about the Central Coast, as we discussed earlier, it's such a big geographical area, and the markets there are segmented in all different sort of regions and price points. So, but you're really focused down on the prestige market as well, aren't you? You're focused on the prestige market down the southern end. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the markets there, some of the up and coming markets, the prices, and what you're seeing in terms of interest from where the buyers are coming from? And
Yeah, I don't really like the upper end market. I
Okay.
tried to avoid it most of my whole career because it's just slow, and it's getting better now. But years ago, if it was $5 million, I don't know, take forever to sell. I was more the volume agent.
Yeah.
I loved, the 1 to 2 million range most of my career. And because dealing with families, and I list them, I'd sell them, and I used to sell a lot of houses like that.
Yeah.
But because of my profile and being around a long time, I've migrated to the upper end as much as I was trying to resist it. And now it's, I was on the phone on the way here to a journalist who's writing a story in Sydney, and they were talking about, I've just listed one for 25 plus in Wamberal.
Yep. Wow.
But 10 and 20s are becoming normal now. And I remember a guy who owned a beachfront 20 something years ago, one that I sold, and he was a developer. And the guy who sold all the beachfronts, he just didn't like him that much. So I listed his house, and his name was Paul Craig. And Paul said to me, "Mark my words, Matt, Wamberal will become unaffordably expensive one day on the beach, because it's an hour from, because Byron was like 3 times the amount, and Hymes Beach or something was the similar. But you could get a beachfront back then for like 4 million or something." He said, "It doesn't make sense, and it's an hour north of Sydney." He said, "Mark my words, one day it will become unaffordable." And I think it's on its way there now.
Yeah.
Because of the proximity.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And is that really where the high net worths are coming from? Is it all out of Sydney? Is it all Sydney money?
Yeah, most of it.
And they're living in are they living holiday? So
yeah,
all
holiday.
homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this, people worth hundreds of millions now. There's not thousands of them, but it's not uncommon for people to have a chain of preschools, or be in Bitcoin, or these sorts of things where people are worth significant amounts of money, and they just want a home. If you have a home that's already done in a prestige area, you save years of building. They want that. They'll pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you finding that is it old money? Is it new money? Is it a mix of both?
Newish money.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately. Yeah, for sure.
And as you said, this the time factor to build new, and they're valuing built product in good locations, obviously. What are they expecting? You're talking big dollars now, 10, 20 million. What are they expecting for their money? Just beachfront? Is it all water driven? Is it views? Yeah.
Water driven. Yeah. Beachfront.
Is there anything
acreage?
Acreages?
Yeah. Acreage. Like, you look at the Matcham Pocket's beautiful.
Yep.
5 minutes to the beach. Grammar school's right there. So if they're moving up permanently, if it's a finished home, people will pay. It might seem like overs, but today's overs is tomorrow's cheap.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I see it all the time. If someone asks 8 million for a rural, might take a little bit to sell, but then they look back and go, I should have really bought that, because there's not many around.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find newer products in our area.
Yeah. And what are you competing? And are you competing with markets like Byron Bay, like the Surfers Paradise?
Yeah.
Is that really where
Palm Beach?
Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because for some of these, like, you can get to Sydney in as you say, an hour, I suppose. Yeah. And if you look at, so what would be the top tier suburbs? What were the top 5 suburbs, do you think?
Avoca and Terrigal and Wamberal.
Avoca, Terrigal, and Wamberal.
And Wagstaff.
Yeah. Okay.
Waterfronts at Wagstaff. That's the highest selling. 16.25 is the highest sale at Wagstaff.
At Wagstaff.
But that's the whole of the coast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, have you dealt much in the apartment space? Is there prestige apartments that are selling in those areas as well? Or are you going more to the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sort of. Like, I just
Still
sold one for 8.25, but it's just so limited, the amount of developable land. There just isn't heaps.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got the pocket in Terrigal, a bit at Avoca, there's a couple of complexes coming out, but it's not like Sydney where you have all these different buildings.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of new products in those prime suburbs that are coming out of the ground that are brand new. So people are paying good prices for older stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a couple of developments coming out, but once they're done, there's not much else around.
Yeah, and you're not seeing much in terms of apartment development going on in some of these areas. Was it mainly limited supply?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the amount of developable land.
Yeah,
it's
not
because you can't develop in Wombrel, you can't develop in most areas, but pockets in Terrigal mainly.
Yeah,
just in the bowl where the Crown Plaza is.
Yes.
Just around that, and then a little bit of Avoca, and then there's no other around those beach suburbs. You can't build units anywhere else. So yeah.
And stepping back from prestige, just generally, where do you see some of the value suburbs? Where's the average person living? Where they're spending the growth? What's been the growth in some of these prestige or otherwise over the past, say, 5-10 years? Has it been dramatic?
Yeah, like Lake Macquarie's on fire at the moment. You know, sort of between where you and I are located.
Yeah.
We've got offices there now. We never paid attention up there before, but gee, it's on fire. So because you can still get stuff at 700, 800, that sort of thing. But in our area, like Paddo Bay, all along the coast, you sort of got Terrigal is the most expensive and Avoca. Well, Avoca is the most expensive, then Terrigal, and everything goes out from there.
Yeah.
So the further you get away from those pockets, the lower the price gets, but it's holding pretty steady now. It used to drop off significantly from Foresters, which is just around from like Terrigal, Wombrel, Foresters.
Yep.
But now Baddo's like 4 million plus for houses with no views. It's really just in demand.
And what about investors? Are you seeing much? Have the investors come back? Have they never gone away? Is the Central Coast mainly an occupier market, and is it a lot of commuters to Sydney as well? Like generally outside of the prestige market.
Yeah. That's the main person. Like someone like you, Brent, and your family would come from Sydney because they can work from home a bit now, commute to Sydney a few days.
Yep.
When the whole COVID thing, whatever people think about it, but the whole COVID thing changed our area because you could work from home. That was always a bit of the stumbling block. They come up, they get excited, and they're like, I don't know if I want to drive every day to Sydney and back. But now they negotiate to work from home for a couple of days, Sydney a few days. And it's just literally doubled the demand for those types of people.
Yeah, great. Yeah, there would have been a huge push, especially. And look, I went out to had to go to Katoomba the other week, but I went out to Western Sydney and I saw the traffic that you've got to be in. And it's like the Central Coast is such a beautiful part of the world. Why wouldn't you favour that over some of these areas? And I'm not saying there's all sorts of reasons to be out there, but if you had the choice and maybe weren't linked to friends and family, like it seems, crazy you wouldn't choose the Central Coast over some of those markets.
You look at Wombrel, you can get something for $2.5 million, nice family home, and you're literally 200 metres to the beach.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So sort of shifting back again, so you've gotten to this point in the market in your career where you're at sort of the top echelon, especially down the Central Coast and obviously across the country. You've obviously had to focus and put a lot of time into your business, but obviously your health as well. So what drove you beyond your promise to your mate Dino to be number one? It's one thing to promise it. There's plenty of full promises, but actually deliver on it. What's the secret sauce, Matt?
Prospecting. I just was a prospecting machine.
Where?
Yeah, I think the thing with our business is Jamie Woodcock, my business partner.
Yep.
We've been together pretty much for like, I don't know now, 27 years or something. We've had a partnership that's been fantastic. I couldn't have done what I've done without him because he's run the business.
Yep.
I haven't. I'm not really a business person. Like I'm good at sales.
Yep.
But I knew my strength wasn't that, whereas his was. And it's been incredible. Like you've dealt with Jamie quite a bit. He's a smart guy, smart operator, great manager.
Yep.
And I think sometimes salespeople, they do well at sales, then go open a business, and it's two totally different things. And not all salespeople are great managers. So I learnt pretty quickly that I could manage myself well, and maybe a small team, which I have. And then I think that's been important for my own success. Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. There's been plenty of examples of great agents opening businesses and, having to spend so much time on the business, not necessarily getting the performance they were getting out of. So they're two different beasts. And So you've been together for a while, and the group that you're partners in, you're actually across most of the Central Coast. You've got
Yeah.
how many offices?
11 offices now.
11 offices now.
But we were very slow in growing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like we had one for, I don't know, long time, maybe 12 years more. I don't know dates.
Yeah.
Can't think about it. I wouldn't have a clue. Jamie will tell you exactly. But we had one for a really long time. And then it was a good size office and we did really well with that. And then we opened a second one, but slowly. You know, it's not till now that we're opening them more, but we're financial. We're not doing it for ego. We're doing it for demand. Like we're able to service it. So the management team that we have that surrounds Jamie is like, we can open offices with a low cost base and managed well because of the team he has, rather than, you know, when people open multiple offices and their energy is just
spread,
and then you can't give it the focus. Whereas that, because we're so mature in business now, it doesn't happen with us because the right people are all in the right places.
And why the McGrath brand?
Love McGrath. Love McGrath. Love
tell
John.
Me more. Tell me more.
McGrath. Yeah, Johnny McGrath is just the best. Yeah,
okay.
I sent John a video when I was at Killarney Vale in coastal waters, and I sent on an old video camera, and I said, "Mr. McGrath, you're the king of real estate. If I could meet you one day," and I sent him this video, and it had a note on it. Mr. McGrath, this will take you 1 minute and 59 seconds to watch. Please watch it. It might make a world of difference to your life and possibly mine one day. Something like that. That was the sort of message written on it. And he rings me 2 weeks later and says, "Hi, Matt, John McGrath here." And I'm like, "Oh, John McGrath, really?" And I had to show a house. So I said, "Oh, Mr. McGrath, can I ring you back? I'm just about to show a house." He said, "Yeah, sure, ring me back." And I thought I'll never get him again, but he answered. And then he said, "Come for breakfast." And I went down and met up with him. And then over the years, we just sort of stayed in touch a bit. Like I'd see him at a seminar one day, and then somewhere else he'd be speaking. Then I ended up speaking at a seminar somewhere, and he happened to be there. And then at the end of our franchise agreement for Rain and Horn, because we're always in trouble with Rain and Horn, because we're always changing things, and they'd always be sending us letters and from their solicitors, and you're not allowed to do this. Anyway, it drives us nuts. And so when it ran out, I said to Jamie, "Don't renew it. Like just wait." And because we were doing well, we were the number 2 office in Australia, and I was the number 1 agent, and it was like, we're doing okay. And I went down to the car and I rang John and I said, "Oh, John, it's Matt. Would you franchise?" And he said, "Oh, Matty." He's like, "Mate, we're years away from even thinking about that. This is 20 years ago. Why?" And I said, "Well, our franchise agreements run out. I just want to be McGrath. Whatever we have to do, I do. I even just work for McGrath." And he goes, "Let's make it happen." And on that phone call, and he goes, "Let's make it happen." So we worked for, I don't know the time, maybe more than a year, but 2 years just on a handshake as McGrath, me and Jamie. It was the best. So yeah, John's phenomenal.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and we've never, if we weren't McGrath, I'd just leave the industry.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So look, obviously talking about, 2 years of on a handshake agreement, a lot's changed in the industry in the past sort of 25 years. You could say, door knocking, but as you say, you may say differently. A lot's changed, but a lot of it stayed the same. What do you see at the
door knocking? Let's go back to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Door knocking. Look, I'm from commercial, which is it's door knocking, but a lot of the people don't necessarily live in the house, or they're behind companies and things like that. So you've got to get a bit more creative. But in door knocking, do you think that that's still a fundamental focus for residential agents?
Brent, you sound like a young agent that just wants to use social media to succeed. That's what you sound like.
Well, let me tell you. 150,000.
Let me tell you. If I had to go to an area today and compete against anyone, door knocking is all I would do.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not looking for a lead, building a relationship.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, sales managers, they manage incorrectly on performance, like results. You should be managing on relationships. And if I knocked on your door, you got 2 sons.
Yep.
Depends on the time, because if it's witching hour, it's not great.
No, you don't want to be there.
If I knocked on the door and said, "Brent, it's Matt. I'm from McGrath. I've just started here. I just want to give you my card.
Mm.
That's it. I just want to say hello. Nice garden out the front anyway. I'll see you later.
Mm.
And that's it. And then left. You're going to remember me. I don't want nothing from you.
Mm.
And then if I wrote you a thank you card, you go out of your letterbox the next day and it's, hi, Brent, Matt from McGrath. Just want to say thanks for taking time to speak with me yesterday. Should you need any advice or help with your real estate needs in the future, I'm always at your service. Matt. And it's got my business card in there and I just put in there. Okay. And then maybe 3 months later, knock on your door again. Brent, I'm just in the street. Number 10 is just listed, or I might have nothing to say. I'm just saying, I might just say, have you guys had any thoughts of selling at all? No, not at all. Okay, thanks, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to get a letter from me, then a DL or whatever. So over time, it takes 9 to 12 contacts for people to start to become your friend. 9 to 12.
Yep.
18 to 24 to become a household name. Most agents prospect on need. When they want a listing, they're like, I need to go prospect for a listing. I need to go out. That's stupid. You can't. Where am I supposed to go around here and find a house? It's nurtured.
Yeah.
You prospect when you don't need to. Door knocking is the best. You get to look in people's soul when you're at the front door, but you don't stand there waffling on with stuff. You say, have any thoughts of selling? That's all it is, and go. So door knocking is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So is it at the moment you're seeing a lot of agents? You've obviously got a lot of agents in your group. You're seeing the agents, seeing your competition. Is that art lost? Is there still agents doing it well?
I just think they're too caught up in quick. They're too caught up in quick. You know, I'll spend this on social media. I'll just send some DLs out. Oh, who cares? Like, that's great.
Yep.
Make the effort. 1 hour a day will change your career. 2 hours a day will change your life. Prospecting. They just don't want to prospect. That's our business. We can't ring China and get stock brought in. Our stock is us. Like, it's our relationship with people. And a core area, which I've done, Wombrel, my whole career, the whole thing, it's saturation. You need to saturate this area like nothing else until people literally can't think of any other agent. I could see this years ago when I was younger. I used to prospect everywhere, like just walk everywhere and find things. But I went to an LJ Hooker seminar when I worked for LJ Hooker with Jamie. That's where we met.
Yep.
And I went there and they said, work 1,000 homes. And I'm like, 1,000 homes? 1,000 homes? I said, I'll do that in like a couple of days. Like that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Because I used to just walk from morning till night, remember?
Yeah.
So like you can get through a lot of things, a lot of places. I was like, wow, 1,000 homes. So I'll do that. And they talked about a CMA in there as well. And the CMA was like a report, but it's the delivery of the CMA. I'm like, that's interesting. I'll do that too. I was a great executor. If I hear an idea, I'd do it straight away. So I did the 1,000 homes and then I was like prospecting it and all that sort of stuff and doing letters and things like that. And then this core area just become like a bank account of people. And then over time they got to know me so well. And I was like, people wake up and think Knight Frank, they think McGrath, they think hookers like this. I wanted them to think Mat Steinwede. When people got up, I was like, I want them to go Mat Steinwede to sell my house. So that saturation separated me from everybody else. But the CMA was the secret weapon. So I'd be prospecting and then asking them if they want to sell and whatever else. And you get people offside a bit because when you truly hit saturation, people get a bit annoyed with you. They're like, can you leave us alone, please? But at least they know you. But that CMA thing, I would do 10 a day, drop a letter off. I'd ring them up. Brent, it's Matt. Did you get my letter yesterday? You'd usually say, oh, I don't know, la, la, whatever. They'd usually say, oh, I'm not selling. And I'd say, oh, great. It's for people that aren't selling. It's free. Mrs. Jones is getting one. I'm dropping one off to Mrs. Jones next door. Can I just leave it at your doorstep? If you ask twice, they usually say yes. Just leave it at the doorstep, Matt, and leave me alone. Okay. So, and when it's free and it's for people that aren't selling, blah, 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 they're usually like, okay. I'd take a picture of their house, put it on the front of the report, and then drop it off on the third day. But I wouldn't leave it at the doorstep. I'd knock on your door and give it to you. People loved it. It was a 3-day process, but people loved it. Picture of their house, all the stats of the area, and then every 6 months for the rest of their life, they would get another one. I still do it today.
Really?
I still do it today. But now it's a beautiful report, amazing report. We do it every 10 months. Beautiful report. It's about 30 pages long. I mean, not as good as your Knight Frank wealth reports and stuff, but it is really good.
Yeah.
Specific area, area specific. And then you get that, you get the calls, you get the door knocks. You start to become like an extension of their household after a while. So people just ring you and you dominate. Like because and once I did the CMA around the whole area, it took me about 2 years to do it properly because it takes a long time. Take a picture, do this, drop a letter. Once I got everybody in there and they just get it they'd expect it. If it was late one year, they'd ring me and Matt, we haven't got our report. So you walk into somebody's house that wants to sell and some agent walked in as like, I don't know, dropped a letter off sometime along the thing. It's just no competition. I wasn't great at real estate. I was just a friggin' amazing prospector.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. And look, I can obviously the proof's in the pudding, the performance is there, the results are there, dominant on this, dominant in your market and across the partnership. So that's, putting feet to the pavement but to complement that now with the social media, like if you look at today's landscape of agents, and as you say, and I'm curious because I don't really deal with a lot of residential agents and our market's a little bit different.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Stop saying that. It's not. It's not. If I was a commercial agent, I would do the same thing. I would drive, whoever owns this building here, you know them.
Yeah.
But I would drive to them and meet them and knock on their door down at Bellevue Hill. And I'd say, hi, I'm Matt. I just want to drop in a card.
Yeah.
Have any thoughts of selling your building at all? There's a shopping center in our area called Fountain Plaza. When I was younger, I just used to ring the owner of that and say, I know it's probably no, but would you sell Fountain Plaza? Mate, I didn't know what I was doing. He's my best client today.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all people,
It is
Brent.
people.
It's not different. So keep going.
No, absolutely. No, I'm obviously, it's great to hear exactly how you're doing it because if you got the results, you can, you got to let us know how it's working. So with your social media, okay, so you've obviously got a big following and it's not just property people, it's health, it's
a mixture.
It's a mixture, it's motivation. What?
But I don't post real estate.
No, you don't. And that's the curious.
I don't post anything real estate.
That's the curious point. So is that and that's what I find interesting is that is that just more of a personal journey for you? Is that just something you're passionate about? You just want to share your opinion because it isn't property. It is more, health and whatnot and sharing your journey. Has that come from, did it start off, and maybe I'm trying to put words in your mouth here, but does it start off from when you came from a bad place, you've now gotten to a good place, you just want to share your journey? Is that sort of how it came, or is it
sort of,
or did it wind its way through another way?
We just do real estate. That's what I do. And but I worked so hard for a long time. I did burn out.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I got to like 20 years in and I rang Jamie one day. I said, I don't want to sell homes anymore. I'll never do anything if I don't want to do it. Like it's just, I'm just that sort of person. Like I hate fakeness.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't want to sell houses. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of people ringing me. I just can't do it anymore. And because the volume was so much, like, and I didn't have the right team around me. I had like young people. Having young people around me as well did me a lot of damage, like brand damage in the market, because I was just like, they weren't very skilled.
Yeah.
I just had people trying to juggle all this volume. It was no good. Whereas my team today, amazing, phenomenal. Different people, different, and I'm different too. But I went to the doctor's office when I was like 43 and I said to him, I just feel terrible. And I knew, I sort of knew, didn't know much about health. I surfed a bit and I thought being healthy was just eating lean. So like I used to eat eggs, wheat. I look like a scarecrow. Honestly, I do. I take testosterone and stuff now, but it's like, I look like a scarecrow. And I remember I was at an open house one day and someone said to me, are you all right? Are you, you don't look well. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, that's good. How are you going today? And I was so gone, but I worked around the clock all the time. Anyway, I went to the doctor's office and he goes, he did my blood test. He goes, you got no, and I had no sex drive, no nothing. And, but I knew I was going to get sick. I just could feel it. I was like, I just felt out of alignment. And he goes, you got no testosterone and your cortisol is so high. He goes, I'm surprised you're even standing up. And from then, I was like, I need to make a change. So I started to learn about gut health and went back to I used to be a bodybuilder years ago when I was young. Not really. I was like partier bodybuilder.
Yes.
I was a bit like that. Just, I looked the part, but I wasn't real bodybuilder. Um, and then I learned about gut health and went on that journey, which I've been on for 10 years now. And I literally rebuilt myself from the inside out.
Mm.
So, learn about microbiome,
Mm-hmm.
mitochondria, energy. I wanted to feel good.
Mm.
That was my driver.
Mm.
And I just, when you wake up in the mornings and you're anxious from the start, you're lethargic from the beginning. Like, how are you supposed to perform well like that? So my number one goal was to feel really energized.
Mm.
And that's really and social media was coming around about then.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's sort of what I just sort of documented that.
And you don't drink? You don't?
No.
No drinking?
No. I used to.
Coffee and all? Do you
No.
drink tea?
Caffeine, it's no good for you.
Mm.
So your microbiome is the most important thing in your entire body.
Mm.
So the bacteria in your gut is, it's like a garden.
Mm.
And if you feed it good things, it'll flourish. And what happens is if your garden's working well and you eat the proper food, like I only eat organic one ingredient food. Like I only buy from the local farms near us. I don't eat anything processed. I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat gluten. And people can say, oh, that's ridiculous. Like you can't. Yeah, I used to do all of that.
Mm.
But I live this way now. But once you really understand it, it's just not worth it because your body's just a processing machine. It'll look how you treat it.
Mm.
And it'll also perform how you feed it. So if you got an energy problem, you've got a food problem. Food, hydration, and sleep. Sounds simple, but most people don't do it. Caffeine has got no nutritional value. I'm not a doctor, I'm not nothing. I'm not a nutritionist, but I have a pretty good understanding of all of this stuff now because I work every day with a guy who's got a PhD in nutrition, who's like my personal everything when it comes to this. And another guy, Mick the Podman, who specializes in gut bacteria, has done for the last 10 years. I work with both of them very closely because I want to live the best rest of my life.
Mm.
And coffee is a stimulant. So whatever goes up comes down. But when people, and it's so accepted, like people are going to be listening to this going, oh, that's, lots of coffee and all this sort of stuff. That's fine, but you don't need it.
Mm.
When your energy is a 12 out of 10, you don't need energy drinks, pre-workout, caffeine. They're all the same thing-ish. There's more chemicals in the pre-workout. I used to take pre-workout every training session. Couldn't work out without it. It's because my body wasn't functioning correctly. But when it is, you don't want to change that. Mm. So when your bacteria is great, it takes a while to rebuild this. When your bacteria is great, it feeds your cells. So in your cells, you got trillions of them. Mm. Every cell has 320,000 little motors in it. Mitochondria, they're called. They run at 9,000 RPM, each one of them, when they're firing. So imagine your whole body is a motor. If you're not firing, it's coming from here. And you can't just, if you're feeling like this, you've got to fix it. Like you can't just take a stimulant and go, oh, I feel great now. Yeah, but it's like a Band-Aid for 5 minutes. Then your sleep won't be the same. Then just everything doesn't function right. Your hormones aren't the same, the whole thing. So it's all linked together. So I was like, how do I feel good? And then what sort of commitment am I going to make around it? So every food I eat, every meal I eat matches my bloods. So every 4 months I get my bloods done. Tommy, the nutritionist, matches all of my meals to the blood work that I get done. So every single thing I consume, supplement-wise, food-wise, matches what I'm deficient in and what I need. So if I go and eat a chocolate cake, sure, it tastes good, but it's rubbish. Mm. Your body doesn't need it. You need very little carbs. People eat too much carbohydrates, proteins and fats. And the reason I don't eat meat, I like meat. I'm not trying to save the animals on the planet or anything like that. But meat it takes really long to digest. Mm. It's a really heavy food. And before I knew all of this, when I'd eat a steak, say, and I lived on meat, I never used to eat vegetables at all. But when you eat a steak, I always felt like heavy after it. But your body uses so much energy to process it, and it sits in your system and sort of rots a bit. So I chose not to eat it anymore. I only eat eggs. eggs, tofu, beans, nuts for protein. I get plenty. And I take testosterone. I get it all measured. And I'm firing harder than ever before. At 30, felt like I was going to die. At 53, I feel like incredible.
Well, that's why I was curious because, the performance side of it. You've always said you're a prospecting machine, top performing agent. You have been for quite a number of years, but you're saying this has really kicked it into a new gear, or is it always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a 2-year-old. I've been married 3 times, 7 kids. Yeah. I've got a 2-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the old dad. I'm going to be one of those old weird dads at school. but people start to retire and decline when they get into 55. Like you can get into a retirement village at 55. So people start like declining, like, oh, I'm retiring and all this. But I'm like, hang on, why can't we ascend? Why can't I even get better? Like Mick the Podman, who I get these superfoods from, he hand makes these superfoods. He says 70 years young, 110 years healthy. What a great mindset. He's 60 years old, looks incredible. My nutritionist is 60. 61, I think he is. No, 60, 61. How part of this started, I met him in a shop. He came up to me and goes, "You've got a great physique." And I'm like, "Thanks." And I'm a bit awkward with small talk with people. And I just half ignored him. And then something in me said, "Go and find him and talk to him." So I went and found him in the shop. And I said to him, "Oh, do you own this shop?" And he said, No, I'm the nutritionist here. I said, he's probably like 5'7". So I was like looking down at him. And I said, "How old are you?" And he goes, "I'm 50." Back then, he said 57, I think he was. I said, "You look amazing. How do you get your skin like that?" He goes, "It's what I eat. It's what I do." I said, "Can you do that for me?" He said, "Yeah." And I've been on that journey ever since.
Well,
yeah. Like if you look at photos from me 10 years ago, I look completely different.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a whole episode in itself. Finding
on that
all
note,
that.
how many people are getting sick
Lots
out there? So much.
Yeah.
I've got this and that. It's like, it's lifestyle. I'm not saying all the illness is, but lifestyle, inflammation. Inflammation is the biggest problem with health. And inflammation comes when your body's unhappy. Alcohol, I would never touch it ever again in my life. It's not good for you. It's a poison. And processed foods, a poison. They're no good. The fruits and vegetables that we eat, if you don't get them from an organic place, they're full of chemicals. You keep putting all these processed things and chemicals in, your body's going to get inflamed. And that's where I think a lot of problems start. Yep.
Look, it's a big change in lifestyle from where you started out to now, isn't it?
Sure.
You couldn't be more
Injecting
dramatic.
speed to eating organic apples.
But it's great. No, it's great. Look, and obviously you've got, I obviously look at it through an agent's lens as well, like to see to perform at such a consistently higher level for so many years and still have the energy, have kids, all of that, and still perform higher. Like obviously it's great to see. So as I said, we could talk more into that at length. I suppose we'll try and wrap it up here soon.
Yep.
But what is your next journey? What's your next 5 years? It'd be good to know your journey, the market's journey. Like you see yourself working plenty into the long term. Are you on the tools as much nowadays? Are have you got a team around you that's working? You, as I said, you're pretty active in your health as well. What's your next 5 years look like, do you think?
I think speaking is going to become a lot more. I've really avoided it for a long time because I just didn't like it too much, but I would do it every now and then. But I think speaking is going to become more of what I do.
Yeah.
I have a great team. So I have a team of 8. Myself, Trev and Jordan, list and sell. Jordan's been with me Naughty Jordan's been with me for like 8 years. He's coming very good now. Like he's really put a lot of time into each other. And then I've got Ash, who's like the EA of the glue of it, and then 2 buyers agents and 2 admin in that as well. So that runs pretty well. So we've got some team goals that we want to do.
And how long's the team been together for?
Yeah, most of it. Trev and I have been together 15 years, Jordan 8, a couple of newish.
Wow.
The buyer agents are newish, but Beck was with McGrath for 20 years, come across this experience. So
cool.
We're all pretty experienced, good energy together. So we probably want to like maybe 30% increase our business. Just not do it tomorrow, but just over time.
Yep.
I like selling houses. I sort of like the upper end now because I run my day very time. I only do appointments between 10 and 2:30 maybe. Then I train after that and train, and then I'm home helping with summer. I do the odd appointment here or there, but I try not to now.
Yep.
And most people fit into that because I think if, for many years I just didn't own my time and I was just stretched so thin.
Yeah.
So now I say no to a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm happy. I don't need much else.
That's good.
As long as John doesn't leave. Yeah, or not leave or whatever. Yeah, retire. Yeah.
And what do you think the market's going to do over the next 3 to 5 years? We're obviously, it's a big topic, and I suppose we've got a housing crisis. There's pressure on rents. Interest rates are trending downwards. They're probably going to stay stable. We don't know. But what do you see?
We need a proper government because I think they're just hopeless. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the people that are at the steering wheel, they shouldn't be. I think it can be fixed with people who actually know how to run a business.
Yep.
And housing crisis. Yeah, well, just start rolling out. There's subdivisions everywhere, and I'm not pretending I'm a politician or thing, but I think the level of the integrity feels low to me.
Yeah.
People who are running things. So I think it'd be great to see proper leaders at the helm of this country for sure. I think it would be great. And I think the market is going to be on fire.
What about the Central Coast? Do you think that there's plenty of growth left in the Central Coast and all these markets that you're working in? Yeah.
So much opportunity, so much growth. Young people, I don't know how they're going to afford some of these things. But, I think there's opportunity everywhere. I think it's good times for everybody. We've been through some pretty difficult times recently with interest rate rises and stuff, but it goes up and down. Yeah. I think it's what you make it half the time.
Yep. Agree. Couldn't agree more. Well, we might leave it there. Look, it's been a really interesting podcast. It's fascinating. And there's so many threads we could journey into, but we'll wrap it up there. But really appreciate the time coming and joining us today.
Thanks,
and we'll try and catch up again soon.
Sounds good.
Well, that's all from us. We'll be sure to keep you updated throughout the year.